Hello Libras, welcome into the channel. I hope you are doing well. And interesting enough, we are in the full moon of Libra. That actually peaked last night. For Scorpio, I was supposed to do some oracle cards at the end of their video. However, I didn't do that, but what I did do was charge my decks under the full moon in Libra. So it peaked last night, Eastern time. It was between 10 and 11 p.m. And so I realized that after I grabbed the decks out of the windowsill early this morning. So I guess Scorpio ended up getting all the information they needed when I did their video. However, for you, the decks are freshly charged under your moon. So that's how it was meant to be. So let's get into this a little bit more for you, okay? So at the end, I'm going to pull a couple oracle cards just so you're aware. I didn't do it for Scorpio, but I'm doing it for you. So this is going to be about a big transit coming up over the next 7 years. This is going to begin April 25th. So we are already in April 25th. We are already in April, but the 25th is not too far off, okay? So this is going to be primarily for Libra risings. However, it is going to be just as significant for Libra sun signs. And also, if you happen to have a copy of your natal chart and you're aware that the planet Uranus was in the 9th house when you were born. So this can also be significant for you as well, but only you will know that if you go and pull a copy of your natal chart from, say, Cafe Astrology. You'll have to have your birth time and your birthplace and obviously your birth date. It'll pull a full script for you and everything you need to know about all your planet placements and what houses the planets were in. So let's start off, okay? Let's talk a little bit about what the 9th house rules, all right? So this is about travel and education. It's your belief systems when it comes to religion, philosophy, politics, can be your life direction, your purpose. It's higher education and learning. It's travel, relocations, and global experiences. It's truth, meaning, and perspectives. So Uranus here, when it comes into the 9th house for you, you stop seeing the world the same way you used to. So everything starts to change. Your travel location shifts, your path shifts. You feel pulled towards new environments. Your surroundings change, your mindset changes. For example, you travel or you move somewhere new and completely changes your outlook on your priorities or your goals. So the belief system for you start to question everything you were taught. You adapt new perspectives quickly. So you go from believing one thing strongly, whether it's religion, it's career path, it's your worldview, to something completely different within a few years over this transit. So education and learning, okay, will take an unexpected turn for you. You could study something new or something completely unconventional. So You switch majors if you're in college, or even out of college. You could have been doing the same thing for many years, and then you find yourself going back to school, and then you switch majors completely. Could be different certifications you go after, self-study. It could be in something like technology, media, philosophy, or communications. Your life direction can change multiple times, even over the next 7 years. You may dabble in different areas, so you start branching out a little bit, and then you find yourself, you're not sticking to any long-term path. So you think you're going to go in one direction, and then all of a sudden you pivot, and entirely based on new information and new experiences, you're going somewhere different. You're going to start thinking more for yourself. This is a big one for you, Libra. You like to weigh other people's opinions, right? It's the balance. You like to get other opinions before you make your own decisions. You seek balance and agreement with people, places, and things. So Uranus is coming to disrupt that for you. You stop people pleasing intellectually. You form your own opinions, even if they're unpopular. Okay? So you disagree openly where you used to stay pretty neutral. You're going to be exposed to different cultures and ideas over the next 7 years. You meet people from very different backgrounds. You expand beyond your comfort zone. So conversations, travel, or online spaces introduce you to perspectives that reshape how you see everything. For sun sign Libras, this is more of an internal experience, where if you are a rising, it's the outer environment that changes. It's exterior, right? You have to think of it's how the experiences change. For your sun sign, it's internal. So you feel you want harmony, agreement, balance. But when when Gemini goes into Uranus, it's the independence, it's curiosity, it's unpredictability. So it's harmony versus truth. And for you, you struggle between keeping peace and speaking your truth. So you want to agree with others, but internally you're thinking something completely different. You become more intellectually independent over the next 7 years. You rely less on others' opinions. It's instead of asking, hey, what do you think? You start asking, what the heck do I think? Who cares what they think, right? It's more, it is about you, okay? So your direction and communication, you start speaking more freely, less filtering to keep the peace, okay? So you say things you would have softened up or avoided before. Your identity evolves through all new ideas. Your personality shifts as your beliefs change. You ask yourself, am I becoming more confident? Am I becoming more outspoken? Am I more independent? Your worldview expands completely. You're going to outgrow environments that limit your thinking. You feel totally restricted by narrow-minded spaces. So you could leave a job, you could leave a community of people, or you find yourself leaving a relationship that just doesn't align with how you're evolving and your perspective. So what is this realistically going to look like for you over a timeline? So in the early phase, you're looking at the 1st to 2nd year, you will start to feel restless. You're going to start questioning your direction. You're going to want something more. And then by the middle phase, you're going to start traveling. You're going to start moving differently. You're going to start learning. You're going to, get more exposure to new ideas. The shifts in beliefs and goals change. And then by the peak phase, major direction in life changes. Like, you're going for it. You're going to start speaking your truth, and it's going to be more openly. And then the final phase of this transit, so, by the 6th and 7th year, you have a whole new world view. You're clear on sense of purpose. Okay, you're completely independent thinking. So with this transit, everybody has free will. So there are challenges, or you could say risks, okay, especially for Libra placements. So you could overcorrect into rebellion or constrain your thinking. You could actually burn bridges by swinging too far from people pleasing. Okay, too much bluntness. So the best way for you to use this transit, the goal isn't to abandon the harmony. It's just to redefine it for you. Okay, so the healthy version, you think more independently and communicate with your awareness. So, for example, I can disagree without disconnecting. So the big truth here is Gemini energy expands your mind. Uranus forces the awakening of this. So for you, Libra, this is about becoming someone who doesn't just balance perspectives, but actually has their own. So the final takeaway here, your life path changes because your mind is changing. By the end of this, you're more independent in your thinking, you're more confident in your beliefs, and less dependent on external validation. So let's get you some oracle messages here. We're going to go to higher self messages and then sacred soul messages. So I hope this was helpful to give you an idea of what's going to be happening over the next 7 years with this transit. And let's see what spirit oracle messages are here for you. If you find this to be helpful, I hope you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and share with other Libras that might need to be aware of what's going to be happening over the next 7 years. Feel free to comment and like. I appreciate it. I'm hoping this information, because if you do like, you comment, and you subscribe, this video will get out to a wider audience, and it will get to the people who are interested in this type of content, okay? And I'm also looking forward to doing readings and more videos over the next 7 years to see how this plays out for you, see what your challenges are. So it'll be good. What do we have here for Libra? Perspective is a matter of where you stand. Remember, you're going to stand independently and you're going to get your own perspective. You know, there's nothing wrong with listening or hearing other people's perspectives, you know? But at the end of the day, you have to make sure you're making decisions based on your own beliefs, your own truths. Okay, so you're going to be standing in a different you by the end of this 7-year transit. And it's going to be your perspective, as it should be. You know, it's not about other people's perspectives. Let's get a sacred soul message here for Libra. Okay. What do we have for our Libras? Well, that was quick. So, I know you are tired, but come this way. This is renewal. Keep going. Your path is revealed. So, you know, this transit is going to be tough for everybody. Everybody is going to be working through major shakeup shifts in all different areas of life. You are entering the 9th house, so yours will be about the travel, the education, the philosophy, your own opinions, speaking your truth. And it's renewal for everybody, but for you. And, you know, you might feel a little tired and exhausted and overwhelmed with the fact of learning to harmonize more with yourself rather than everybody else outside of you, because this is about you stepping out as who you are. You know, this is, you know, just like Gemini's, you know, risings and sun sign, they're coming out of the 1st house. They're figuring out who they are, right? So they're showing the world who they really are rather than being flexible and adapting. Same thing with you. You're an air sign. You like to be in harmony, right? So a lot of times you'll sit back and you won't say how you feel or what you think, you know, at your own cost, right? To make everybody else feel harmonized. But now it is going to feel tiring coming out and speaking your truth. It's not easy. It's tough. But remember, this transit is to benefit you. Okay? So, Libra, I hope this was helpful. And until the next one, I will talk to you soon.